What's up, everybody? I'm going to do a quick review on 5 machines today. The first version, Stigma Thorn. The second version, Stigma Thorn 2.0. The Bishop Wand Packer. CNC S-1. And CNC WE, however you want to say it. Also, it's my day off. This is my workstation, so it's kind of messy here. This is just my little art table. This isn't where I sit and tattoo anybody, so don't go freaking out sending me all kinds of comments, because if you do on my day off, I'll probably give you that one back. Also, I'm drinking a beer, and I really don't care about all of the rules that I would normally follow with tattooing, because it's my day off and I'm not going to work on nobody. And this is a really good beer. I'm not sponsored by them, but it doesn't give you a hangover. So if you want a beer without a hangover, that's a good one. So first off, this is the Stigma Thorn, the original version. I don't know if you can buy them anymore. They still sell parts, but you can find one on eBay. I found this one. It had a 3.0 cam. I sent it back to, I think, Greece or somewhere where their workshop is, and I had them put a 4.2 cam in it, and it was a little expensive. It was about $135 for the shipping, taxes, the tariff fee, but they got it to me, even how far they are, in approximately about 3 weeks, which was actually pretty fast. I didn't have to wait months and months. I've heard some people saying that. If you're waiting months and months, make sure that you're not pestering them or bothering them. They know that they got it. Once you find out it's there, if you don't hear back from them within 30 days, then I would say something to them. This is the FK Iron Uni lightning bolt I use with this. I'm going to show you something with the thorns real quick. You can see the length is a little bit different. This one's a little bit more heavier now. It also has an adjustable stroke. So it goes from 2.5 to 4.5, and you can go anywhere in between 4.3, 3.8, 3.7. So I'll get to that one in a minute. I'm going to show you. I've heard people say that they didn't like the vibration. When you're going from one machine to another, you're expected to know each motor that's in them are completely different. You're going to have to figure out what is comfortable for you for voltage and for shading and for stippling, whatever else you do. A lot of people will use a machine that runs on 9 or 10 volts, and they'll try to run this one at 9 or 10 volts, and it'll sound like it's going to explode, and it'll be vibrating because this is a 6-watt motor. So that's why people are making reviews, and they should already know that. So they're really not making a review that is correct. They're only judging it on the on the issues that they've dealt with their other tattoo machine. So I'm going to show you real quick how this runs. And the grips that I have on here, I buy from Amazon. You'll see which two. I'm going to try to put the photo. I cut one of them. There's little slits. You cut them in pieces. I space them and put the tape over, so that's why those grips look like that. Some of these companies don't sell you different grips. You can make your own, and it's a game changer. It's almost like having another machine. So I'm going to run this at 6.5 volts. I run it sometimes at 7, but for me, 6.5 is cool for lining and shading. And this thing hits hard, so it puts the line, boom, right in there. And this needle that I'm using too, I'm using a 3-round liner long taper off Amazon by Blackbird. So they're kind of like, you know, cheaper quality than your Quadrant or Emali's, but that's a pretty thin line. For it to be smashing a line like that from a 3-round liner long taper that good one pass, that's how you know it's a good machine. So I'm going to show you real quick. I like the Big Wasp I also like a lot of other cartridges. I get bored of them. That's part of the process of being a tattoo artist. You'll try different cartridges, different machines as you can or can't afford them. But if you're starting off, you want to know if you can do the same tattoo with a cheap machine as a good one. Yes and no. If you buy the right cheap machine, which is a little bit more for that company, it might be closer to like 200. You can, because the main thing is you need to practice. But also you'll see when you do pay money for these expensive machines, the quality in them, how they're built, the way they run. You know, some people might see this machine and be like, man, I run it at 8 volts. It sounds like it's going to explode. I don't like it. Put it up in your drawer. Make sure you run your machine for at least a month without using everything else, or you're just going to keep going back to your old machine. So you have to learn how each individual motor runs. So at 6 volts, I think it's 6.5. Look at that. Look how good it's in there. And what I really do like about this machine, look how little it is. It's like having just a grip. Now, with the new version, it's a little bit more heavier, but you expect that from them because it's quality. It feels like it's like stainless steel. So I'm gonna put this on there. And I've heard somebody say another video that they didn't like it. They felt like they had to use a cord with this machine. That's completely, to me, not true. This is the Ambition Shorty battery. It's similar to the Critical. It's a little bit heavier, but if you put this on, they have the RCA jack down in there. So what it does is it looks like it's one unit, like it was never a wireless machine. So you can definitely use a battery, any battery on this. I'm going to show you any battery you can use on this. Some machines they won't. This is this one, and you have the adjustable stroke, like I said, between 2.5 and 4.5. Now with this, it's lasered on. You can't see real well with this because this is a limited edition gold versions. On their other one, you can see the laser line better. You can go anywhere, 4.4, 4.3, 3.8, 2.7, whatever you're doing, technical, however you're used to your stroke. That's a really cool feature, and this is kind of like the original version. It hits hard. I put the grip on them. I always like the foam grips. I get them from Amazon or AliExpress, and I got this at, I think the other guy said his sweet spot was 8 volts. Mine is about between 7.5 and 7, and then for shading I'll run it at about 6.5 or 6.7 volts. And even with the battery pack, these are made by Ink Claw and Dragon Hawk. They're super light, they're real light, so I recommend these. They're really light. Some of the other ones are a little bit heavier, and if you don't want any back weight, like with these, some of the weights that's on them, if you have a longer machine, they're a lot lighter. And just look at it. Like there, I'm doing some saturating. And always pat dry like that. If you see this plastic wrap I'm using, I think it's eyebrow saran wrap or something. It comes in a little roll like saran wrap. I use that to wrap up all my machines, but today, you know, I'm just at my little art table practicing. I don't tattoo nobody here, but this thing has like power, like the first one. It's like having a diesel machine to me. It's really good quality. It's got every stroke. Like I said, this is wireless to me. Using a battery to me is wireless. So for someone to say, well, it doesn't come with a battery on it, you have to use a cord, or now I have to. No, you don't. You just put a battery on it. But you want one that's not going to be heavy. So this is a very light battery, or you can get the Shorty Ambition, or you can get the Critical, whichever one. The Critical will fit snug on it, and it's the same style as this one, which makes it look like it's one unit. So it looks like it's not even wireless. So that's the reason I'm going to start doing. I got like 20 to 25 machines. I'm gonna start trying to do 5 at a time real quick. So if you look for these videos, they're gonna show you real quick if they're good. Can I use it? Can I use it or not? Because I'm thinking about buying it. I have another machine. I wanna know about it real quick. I don't wanna sit. I'm gonna try to do 5 at a time. So like my video. You got any questions? I'll hurry up and make some more. Look at that. Now this is a 3-round liner long taper. That's 1 pass, and I got it on, what do I have it on? It's only at 4.0. So let's turn it up to 4.5. Like, that's the stroke. It's hitting a lot harder. And it's a lot harder to line with a smaller needle grouping than, I don't even know if I have a big needle grouping out here. See if I can find one real quick. What is that? This is a bigger needle grouping. So when you're using a long taper needle like that, a 3-round liner, your smallest standard, that's going to give you a good idea how strong the machine is, because a lot of times people that are starting off using a smaller needle like a 3-round liner opposed to a 9-round liner, you're going to have to go over your line more times. Generally, I go over mine like 2 times to make sure it's nice and solid. And I'll do it kind of like this. I'll go back, wipe it, and go over it. Sometimes when I'm going around, I'll go back and come back this way, back and forth. And boom, you have your line in there. You see that? How hard this thing hits? It's a powerhouse. So this thing is like, you buy machines and you see each one has a different motor. You have to figure out how that runs. But almost every one you can. There has been a couple machines I had, I just thought I didn't like them, but it was because of my personal preference. So right there you have both of them, the original Stigma thorn and the new one. I'm not for sure if you can still get this one. This thing is real small. You can find them sometimes on Facebook if you go to the trading sites, Tattoo Buy, Sell, and Trade, or you can ask the company. This one is their new one out. And yes, it is longer, and yes, it's a little bit heavier, but it's nothing you can't get used to. They're both awesome. They're both awesome machines. I would get them. Next is the CNC Wii. I've had this machine for about 5 years, and it still runs. The cam is different. This is cool. This is a feature I like. I can put a 3.0 cam, 3.5, or 4.0 for about 20 bucks. I got 4.2. I can show you in depth how to put it on. You leave a little millimeter gap. I don't know if you can see it from where it's all the way down, but about a millimeter. Tighten it up. Just snug, a little twist snug. Don't go real hard or you'll strip it. I have the 4.0. I would, sorry. I would like to see them come out with a 4.2 or a 4.5 or a 5.0, but they don't have one because I don't want to get rid of it. Even though I have all my fancy machines, this machine has a punch, and when I had to work with it, when I didn't have as much money for 6 months or so, I learned how this machine ran, and I still like it, and I still use it some days. When I get tired of another one, I know how this is going to run. You have your kind of like FK iron, your collar dial. FK iron has the numbers on it. They got a new version of this that has a digital one. The battery's longer. It'll show you the volts. But when you turn it off and start it, it starts at the recommended voltage for lining and shading, which to me, it can be right. Because if you're starting off, what people do is they'll turn it way up and you'll chew the skin up. So that's good for you to start. You should try to learn how to line. If you're starting off, you should try to learn how to line and shade off this voltage. And they know what they're talking about. Even though some of these companies, people say, oh, that's a cheap company. Well, these companies have been along longer than these companies you're buying 1,200 machines from, or $1,200 machines from. Dragonhawk has been around forever. I just got the new Mass Racer, and it's, to me, mind-blowing. I got tons of their machines. Their quality. Some of their machines I didn't like. But I've seen someone else that did like them and still use them. They'll go to their Bishop wand, and on some days they'll pull out their other one because, well, I'm trying to save my other one because I paid more for it, use it on special tattoos or bigger ones. But then that's not going to be as comfortable to you. So when you're starting off with a new machine, you want to make sure you use it for a couple months before you say, you know what, I don't like it. I would say at least 90 days and nothing else. So as you can see, it's a good machine too. Like all the ones that I've used, I've had a couple that I don't have anymore that I either didn't like, but you can tattoo with it. Can you tattoo with one machine better than the other? No, because it's going to boil down to what is your skill level? How good are you? How much do you practice? Have you been drawing all your life? Because you can take, once you learn how these needles run, the groupings and everything, and you know how to draw, you've been drawing for 5 years, you can use this just like you can any other machine. But with the quality ones, you'll feel sometimes the quality, it's a little bit more heavier, it's stainless steel, or there's a feature on it that's nice, or you just like how the motor runs. So, but then you can buy one of these for 200 or something, and you'll be like, man, I like this better. There's been times where I've chose this over my Bishop wand packer and said, you know what, this is a cheaper machine, I like it way better than I do that packer. And then I'll use my packer for a week or two and be like, no, I like the packer better. Yeah, it is more quality. It's just how you're feeling that day, the mood, the tattoo. It's mainly knowing how this machine runs for voltage, lining, and stippling, and finding that spot that's comfortable for you. So next is the CNC S-1, which I think this is their updated version from the WE. This comes in 3.5 cam, but you can also buy a 4.2, which I bought because I want it to be like my Bishop packer. And I'm going to show you, I love this thing. It comes on at the recommended voltage, 8 volts. Now this has a battery that has your set, you can set it for your shading and liner. So for liner, I got mine set at 7.7. I'm going to bump it up to 7.8. And how you set it is you hold it, it flashes. Now it's set. There's my shader, there's my liner. So this has a quick grip. Like I said, I put the 4.2 cam in here, so it's going to hit a lot harder and stronger. And it's really affordable. It's only like $20. If you buy a cam off of Bishop or FK Iron, something like that, you might have to send in, you're going to spend $100 if you can even buy a cam. This one that you can watch a video on YouTube and put it on, it's simple. With them, you know, you're going to have to spend money when you want a Corvette instead of a you know, Honda Accord. It just kind of goes like that. But can you tattoo with this machine as good as this Bishop packer? Yes, you definitely, most definitely can. And I'm showing you that right here. What I want to do is, as products get out and I buy them, because I buy a lot of machines, I try to sell and trade them. I might even put some on here that I want to sell and trade that I don't want anymore. When you start getting, that's part of the game, is learning what you like. You might like how this grip is. I use the grips that are in the picture. I don't know if it'll be on there, off Amazon. It's got like 3 lines, so there's actually 3 of these. I cut them where the lines are and I put 2 and wrap them up, so I got like a little gap in here, and it's just real comfortable for my thumb. That's a game changer. That makes this machine feel like a totally different machine when you're used to running it with a regular grip. So definitely invest in those foam grips, because they'll stretch and you can fit them on there. Generally, I don't have one with me, but the Easy, I think it's by Easy, it's kind of green and black. I'll buy that one, and then this one is black, and it's got 3 of these rows. They're black, and it looks like it's real thick. And I just stretch them, or I'll cut them until they're strips, and I'll stretch them and gap it, and then wrap it up. But you can see this 4.2 strip, it's putting it into real good. But then, you know, always like saturate a little bit more slower. You want it lighter. Either turn your voltage down, turn your voltage down a little bit. You want more of a lighter tone. And this is something that you're going to have to learn and practice for each machine, how it runs. Even when you get a new one, if you got enough guts or experience to just start tattooing with it straight away, then go ahead. But you might have problems that day. So it's better to, even though you have it, is do a practice run on some fake skin. I use real skins. I always buy from UK because to me this is the closest thing to real skin. I bought some of the cheap ones, a bunch of different brands from Amazon, and to me it's kind of like tattooing on cardboard. This is a good brand. They got a couple more brands. A Pound of Flesh, I think it's Pro Skin something. I'll have to find out, but that's real important because this is where I practice when I get a new machine before I use it usually. So last, I know you already know about this machine. It's the, oh yeah, I got one last thing to tell you. On this S-1, now with the Wii you can't do it. This battery come off their C2. You can buy these individually. This battery here will also work with the CNC watch. Works fine. Go back to the super thin liner, the 3-round liner long taper. So if it can put a mark with a long taper, one pass a pretty good mark. And they got the quick grip, like I said, which is cool. Even the machines that don't usually, they're strong enough, they're not going to go nowhere or move on you. But you'll feel how each machine runs different. Some people, like when you're buying these expensive brands, you'll see the quality of the machine, how it's just more smooth. And you'll be like, yeah, I'm glad I have that as an option because you can see the quality. But you'll buy some of these, and sometimes these companies are starting to make quality stuff for cheaper too, and these other companies know it. So can you do just as good a job with this as you do with the Bishop Packer? Yes, it's about practicing to me and your art skills. And also the Wii battery fits this. Now those batteries won't fit on the Wii for some reason, but they're all magnetic from CNC. And I don't know if they even know this, but they fit on this one, so you can change it. This one's kind of shorter, a little bit lighter, but I personally like the original because it has the settings for shading and lining. So when I want to hurry up and switch over to shading in the area, boom, I just hit it. They don't have to, the client doesn't have to wait for me to go down and, you know, adjust all the way to 5 volts. If I'm running at 8 volts, I can just hit that button and boom. And last but not least is this, the Bishop Packer. Yes, it's a good machine. I like it. The shader for me, I did use it. You can use it, but I just liked the way this Packer hit. And that's why I think everybody likes it. My needle was out a little bit too far, that's why it was spraying. I always let it hang out about, so I can see it. I don't know if you can see, but about right there. I'd say about a nickel and maybe half a dime. I like to see my needle. And then I try to stick it in about, I wouldn't say a dime, but somewhere in between there. So, but you can see it does run good. So question is, you know, you have all these brands. I'll try to show you the different features. Like I said, this is the Ambition. I bought this because at the time the Ambition shorty battery was, I think, about 200, maybe 250, and this was 50 bucks. Now this is a little bit heavier than the critical battery. I think like I don't know if it's 5 grams. I think the total weight of one of them might be 40, of the critical might be like 40 and this is 50 or something like that. I'm not sure. You have to check that stuff out when you read everything. Read the manual, know what you're buying, the recommended voltage, and then find yours. Like they recommend, I think, to run this between I'm not for sure, but let's just say 7 and 8 volts, and I run mine for lining at about 7.7. Sometimes I do go to 8 volts. It's not going to hurt it. And then I run it for shading at like 6.5, 6.7. Just depends what you like. But I can hear the different sound of this motor and the other ones, and sometimes you do feel like the motors do have a little bit more power or hit, and that's for me important, because instead of going over this thing, you know, a whole bunch of times, you know it's going to pack it in there. But like I said, let's go back to the CNC. Now keep in mind, I put the 4.2 cam, which is the same stroke as the Bishop. Now will this machine saturate too, like the Bishop Packer? Not like these cartridges for some reason, big wasp. Like how the mags is curved. I'll do another tutorial. I'm gonna try to do like 5 machines at a time so you get a better idea. Yeah, this will saturate too, but you'll feel the difference of how it runs, and you know, you'll feel like, man, it's got a nicer motor, but this might just be CNC's brand of motor, and you can do the same job. And I do personally like the Packer a little bit better, how it runs, but there's days I use this and I'm like, man, I spent all that money for that Bishop Packer and I can do the same job with this, which you can, because it's about being an artist. But every machine that I showed you today, would I recommend it? Yes, every single one of them I would, because once you learn the right voltage and you learn how to tattoo, period, a good artist can use this. I've watched Oliver Air do videos with a Dragon Hawk, and everybody went out and bought a Dragon Hawk, because you want to know, can I do that job when you're starting out? Is this $1,200 machine going to make me a better tattoo artist? No. You just want it because you'll see kind of the quality of the motor, different features on it. So all these machines today, I recommend all of them. And none of them are sponsoring me. None of them are giving me free machines. I'm gonna buy more. If they give me one, I'll do a tutorial on them. But they all do hit a little different, and it's because there's different motors in them, different cam systems. You're gonna have to buy it and try it. That's how it works. You don't like it, sell it, trade it, sell it for a little cheaper, get you another one. That's what I've done my whole career, and you'll see what you like. Some of them you won't want to get rid of because you're still like, man, I haven't used that a lot, but I still like something about it. And that's what it's about, finding the correct voltage for whatever you're doing. So all of them, you can use them if you're wanting to know they're good. They're good. Like I said, I've had this Wii machine for 5 or 6 years. 5 or 6 years. I think I bought a grip for it again because I dropped it or something. And other than that, it's never gave me no problems. It was my fault. I've had some of these machines forever and they still haven't broke. If they do, you send them in. Dragon Hawk has good customer service. You might have to talk to them on WhatsApp. They respond. Any of these companies you're trying to get to, remember, have patience, because they're busy. Because I've went off on some of them before and you don't want to piss them off. Have patience. They will usually work with you. You might have a bad person, just keep in mind. But all of them have always responded, always replaced or fixed my products. Dragon Hawk, Bishop, Stigma, Thorn. I've mailed stuff, like I said, to Greece, and it's came back in 3 weeks, repaired and fixed. But you're going to spend more money. When you have a quality machine, you're going to pay more to get it fixed. Just like you have a Mercedes, you're going to pay more to get it fixed than your Honda, most likely. When you take it to a dealership, you're going to pay more than a backyard mechanic. So keep that in mind, and like this video so I can make some more.